So what we're really dealing with here is the business plan over the 15 years of the project. So we're talking about the cash that's generated and the profitability from the farm between now and the 15-year period, and talking where we are versus plans, and in particular talking about 2011 in terms of what the performance was in 2011 in terms of the cash that's generated, and in 2012 what the budget was and what it's looking like for 2012. So the farm in 2011, the total receipts from the farm were €567,000. or 5.23 cent per kilo milk solids, or 42.7 cent per litre. That was made up of about €502,000 for milk sales and about €65,000 for livestock sales. Variable costs were about 12.8 cent per litre and fixed costs about 22.9 cent per litre. Of those fixed costs, we can see that labour amounted for about €90,000, land lease of about €52,000, and interest on borrowed capital of about €28,000. So that left us with a surplus cash in general for 2011 of €103,000, or 7.8 cent per litre. Of that €103,000, €70,000 has been put away into a long-term high interest investment bank account to give us I suppose, buffer in terms of risk in the future. Just looking at the breakdown of costs, labour accounted for 20% of total costs, land rental about 11% of total costs, bank interest about 6% of total costs, and contract rearing about 14%. About 51% of our total costs can be accounted for in these categories that are very little, I suppose there's very little can be done about them. We don't have huge control over them. And in 2012, when we start paying back capital, an additional €50,000 will be paid, which will add, I suppose, another 10% to our total cost of production, bringing our fixed cost component well over 60%, or costs we can have very little control over. So the budget for 2012, I suppose it's quite a difficult job to set down a budget, especially where milk price is moving so much. We've included a milk price of 27.8 cent per litre in our budget, and that has changed on a number of occasions as the milk price within the market has changed. So I suppose really what we're talking about in terms of performance, we're assuming that milk output in kilos of milk solids per hectare will increase by about 5 to 7%. We're assuming that for this is the first year. We had a moratorium on capital repayments for the first 2 years. So year 3 this year is the first year we'll have to pay back capital, and that'll amount to about €50,000 of additional capital repayment. Because we brought in a lot of cows, our calving pattern is not ideal. Basically, that means that we're going to we have included in our budget a penalty in terms of the Glanbia seasonality scheme of the order of €5,000. Also, the pad is not working as good as it should, so we have a figure of €10,000 put in there to update the pad. We have 126 replacement heifers with the contract rearer at present, which gives us an opportunity to cull a large amount of cows on the farm, tidy up issues such as somatic cell count and calving pattern. So a lot of those things will be done, and this year we'll probably cull somewhere around 20% of the herd and bring in the additional heifers while at the same time increasing numbers of cows for 2013. Some of the positives from it, first thing is milk price is a lot better than we projected. In our original budget we put in a milk price 24 cent per litre. It's been a lot better than that in both years. Milk solids yield has been a lot stronger also than projected in both kilos of milk solids per hectare and the milk solid, milk protein, milk fat concentration. So we've had quite good performance. Supplementation, for example, in 2011 we fed about 250 kilos of concentrate. In 2012 we fed 50 kilos of concentrate to date. So there is, it's been quite a good year in terms of supplementation. Herbage production, while is not as high as we'd like it to be by year 8 or 9, it has been well ahead of target, growing somewhere around 12 tonne. And finally, we haven't had really serious health issues with the dairy cows on the farm. There has been, some somatic cell count issues, but we've had no real serious outbreak of disease. First thing I suppose to focus on is the contingency. In our original budget we had a contingency in the capital development of 10%. That was probably not enough in hindsight, and we're probably looking at somewhere around 15 to 20%. The second thing is in the bedding in period. It takes a bit of time for the farm to get up to performance to get up on the farm in terms of herbage production, in terms of milk output per cow, in terms of milk solids concentration, and that needs to be factored into any budget that's been put in place. I suppose finally, in terms of building a contingency contingency, using the cash that's generated from the farm, focusing on cash and using the cash that's generated on the farm to build a kind of a reserve fund that can be used in future if there's issues around interest rate, if there's issues around milk price, and if there's some health issue. Having that reserve fund behind you is a very important component of the business in the future. The key thing to focus in it, I think, and the key message we're trying to get across is focus on increasing productivity from the farm, increase herbage production, get the right type of genetics in the herd, and build. Do not expand without having a budget in place and for that budget to make sense. Once you have started to expand, use the money that's been generated, take some of that cash and build a reserve fund so that you can deal with issues that might come down the line. Because for a lot of farmers who haven't expanded in the past, there is going to be strains on cash as you do expand, and that needs to be factored into our psyche as we build our business plan and as we build our business for the future.